I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about finding the lovable you. Well, Margaret, when we're going through a breakup, we often feel so terrible inside. We are beating ourselves up. We're miserable, and all we can do is sit there and point out everything we've done in the last relationship to ruin it in our mind and in our heart.
Exactly.
So it's so important to getting to a good place after a breakup, and it's not easy to do.
No, it isn't.
But today it seems like you have a good strategy and a good idea on what to do in that situation.
In general, I run into people who don't have any reasonable kind of self-concept. It's painful to see. So here's what I have to say. The greatest and most important adventure of our lives is discovering who we really are. Mm-hmm. Okay? Yet so many of us walk around either not really knowing who we are or listening to that awful inner critic that gives us all the wrong ideas about ourselves. You know that inner critic who echoes all the things our parents ever said to us about you're no good, you'll never amount to anything? Mm-hmm. Yeah, all that stuff. And I'm going to do one of my favorite things. I'm going to quote an old Greek.
Someone you used to know?
Somebody I used to know. This is Aristotle. He's the guy I used to read on the train in Boston when I had the book with the upside-down cover. And I'm sure people said, look at that woman over there. She thinks she's reading Aristotle. But the book's upside down. No, it wasn't. Anyway, Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Sounds good to me. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. In order to be the most valuable person to the world around us, the best partner, the best parent, we have to first know who we are and what we value. Mm-hmm. In effect, we have to know what we have to offer. What do you bring to the table? You need to know that, okay? So these are some universally helpful steps.
Okay.
The first one you've heard from us before, and we'll hear you'll hear it again, called make sense of your past, okay? In order to uncover who we are and why we act the way we do, we have to know our own life story.
Yep.
Okay, fits right in with the trauma issues. Being brave and willing to explore our past is an important stepping stone on the road to understanding ourselves and in becoming who we want to be. Mm-hmm. Research has shown that it isn't just the things that happen to us that define who we become, but how much we've made sense of what happened to us. And that's part of getting treatment for trauma. That, terrible things may have happened to you, but if you work on it and you make as much sense of it as you can, and you look at your parents' stories and the circumstances and so forth, that's what makes the difference. So you're not doomed as long as you're willing to work on it, okay? Unresolved trauma from our history informs the ways we act today.
Yeah.
Studies have even shown that life story coherence is a statistically significant relationship to psychological well-being. In other words, if you're a healthy person, you probably do know your own life story pretty well, even if it was traumatic. Mm-hmm. Okay? The more we form what Dr. Daniel Siegel talks about as a coherent narrative of our lives. Now, we mentioned Dr. Siegel before. He's done an enormous amount of work on the brain. Mm-hmm. And he's probably one of the most popular psychologists around these days.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, but even he says, if you have a coherent narrative of our lives, we are better able to make good decisions in the present that represent our true selves. Okay? The next suggestion is differentiate yourself. And you've heard this before too. That means working on developing a sense of yourself as an independent individual.
Yep.
Okay? Break with harmful internalized thought processes, such as being critical and hostile toward yourself. Okay? Because remember, we bring those things.
Yeah.
And we hear about them again when we have a breakup. Develop your own values and ideals and beliefs, rather than automatically accepting what you grew up with. Now, you may choose what you grew up with, but you have to look at it and make a decision about it. You don't just take it. Okay? All right. Think about what you want. Now, how many times are children told to think about what they want? Not very often, right? Knowing what we want is fundamental to finding ourselves. Recognizing our wants and desires helps us realize who we are and what's important to us. This may sound simple, but most of us are to varying degrees defended against our feelings of wanting. Many children are told, you are selfish and you shouldn't want so much. You shouldn't want so many things. You shouldn't want so much attention. Did you forget your 12 sisters? I have to pay attention to them too. We may have thoughts like, who do you think you are anyway? You can't be successful, fall in love, and feel relaxed. Okay, and as always, we have to silence that inner critic. Be aware of that inner critic. That's that mean little voice that lives inside.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. And the fourth and final one is recognize your personal power. Okay. Experience your emotions, but make rational decisions when it comes to how you act. Formulate goals and take the appropriate actions to achieve them.
Yeah.
Be proactive and self-assertive rather than passive and dependent. That's sort of like, if your license is going to expire and you don't do anything about it, then you're going to have a crisis. But be proactive. Get on it early.
Yeah.
Okay? And don't depend on someone else to do it. Seek equality in your relationships, which simply means one party doesn't make all the decisions. Okay? That you have to have equal power in decision making in a relationship. Okay? And if someone doesn't want to do it, don't marry them until they're ready to do 50%.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? All right. Be open to exploring new ideas. Okay? And take full power over every part of your conscious existence. Just don't do things totally automatically and just sort of shrug. I talked to a lady not long ago, lovely, and very open to new ideas herself. But she had let a number of things happen to her just because she thought that's kind of how it was,
And I think it's so important to be open to your partner's ideas.
Absolutely.
I think one of the things that causes a breakup is your partner will have these things that they really like to do, and you keep telling them, no, I don't want to do that, that's stupid, I'm not interested in that, I don't like that. And then, all of a sudden, when they end it, you're like, no, I'll do all those things with you. I'll be happy to do it. And then they get upset. Yeah. Well, you could have done that when I was with you.
That's right. And that's a great point to make. That we have to be open to new ideas. Yes. And you have to give and take on that. Oftentimes, partners who get along well will exchange interests. I'll go to the opera with you if you'll go to the store with me.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But just a couple of added notes on how do you go about searching for your identity. What do you do? Well, one of the things you do is you look around the world at other people and you say, this person over here seems appealing to me, and this seems like a real grown-up. Let me find out how they do business. Mm-hmm. How do they think? What do they do? So one of the things is to find role models. They're extremely useful. Okay? Not that you're going to adapt everything about them, but if you see somebody who you think has it together and you'd like to know how they do it, take another look. Go spend some time with that person if you can. All right?
Yep.
Because there are many people have things to teach us. Remember that you live your life for yourself and not for others. And I see people so struggling with that. Okay? You can't make your life decisions if you're living for others. If you want to spend your life on a fishing boat looking for tuna fish, you can do that. If you want to go to Tibet and meditate, you can do that. It's your decision. It's not your parents' decision. and not your friend's decision, and not even your partner's decision. But I hope you've worked that out before you get together.
Well, yeah, with a partner, you're going to have
Yeah.
to negotiate. But I think in this sense, they particularly mean parents.
Right. They mean parents. And I see so many people who don't make a decision because they think their parents won't like it. No fair. You cannot live your life to please your parents.
Yeah.
And people have fears that they'll be disowned and the family will never speak to them again. I've never seen that actually play out. If you stand your ground and you be who you are, your family will come around. Okay? And they will respect you more. All right?
All right. So some helpful things to think about, and you can go through the list and, think about your own life and the struggles you've had in these areas, or maybe the areas that you've done well with or would like to improve.
Yep.
Helpful stuff. Give Margaret a thumbs up for her research on this one. And of course, when you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. And of course, Margaret is here to get Skype coaching with as well.
If you feel that I can be helpful, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.